Hi, Adam here with a brief note. If you're listening to this episode as it goes up on the feed, you've probably noticed that it is both late and not the next episode of Borrowed Light. Sorry about that. Circumstances beyond punk control have been getting in the way of getting the next Borrowed Light ready for air, on top of which my own personal brain has been bad in an actually lose all track of time kind of way, among others. So instead, I've gotten a one-shot that was originally recorded in November of 2023 out of the meat locker and readied it for release as fast as I could. By way of apology, the brief peaks for this one are also going in the main feed. Robin wasn't able to be there that recording day, so she is, alas, not in this one. But I hope you enjoy listening to Drew, Des, Nick, and I stumble through the mini-maths and the utter silliness of 10 Million Hit Point Planet. Hello, and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we usually play full campaigns in less well-known systems, and we're keeping the less well-known systems part intact this time, but we are aiming for a one-shot from another one of the Games for Gaza bundle while we continue to have, life kind of throwing us around here and there. So join us, if you will, for 10 Million Hit Point Planet. Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, a player this time, piloting the recently discovered she's an android weapons platform, Shine.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'll be playing Yashapat, first and final axe wielder.
I'm Des, and I will be playing Carathan, the volcano's breath.
And I am Nick. I will be playing Manbot, the humaneuverer.
You know, Nick, I'm glad we didn't have your introduction in the middle of these because it would have been hard to get back on track.
It's really hard to recover from Manbot. I gotta be honest.
Yep.
So, listeners, you may be gathering from the tone of those character introductions that this is an extremely over-the-top little system that we've picked. Just like our look at No Nyarlathotep, this is one of the games included in the Games for Gaza bundle on itch.io. And we're doing a little bit of a one-shot in it to continue to make recordings while we can, despite life throwing everything it's got at some of us by turns. This is a game called 10 Million Hit Point Planet. It's written by Liam Ginty, and it is over-the-top ultra-violence because you are fighting the literal planet. It's brief, and I think it does a very good job of outlining what the system is all about, so I'm going to just read the little introductory text here, because I certainly can't do better. But I'll try to do it in an ominous voiceover voice. Here we go. Last week, the planet turned evil and killed every single person on it, except for you and your friends. Every ocean became a crushing fist smashed against the cities of the world, and every volcano was a loaded gun pointed right at a cowering humanity. You and your buds are heroes, superpowered beings with near godlike powers. You're wizards who have unlocked the secrets of the universe, martial artists who can control every atom in their body, and genius inventors who have broken the limits of science. And you're going to kick the planet's arse for trying to kill everyone you've ever met. But you have a dark secret. You know why it happened. Maybe you are why it happened. Play to find out. 10 Million Hit Point Planet is coming for you. So that, I think, establishes the tone pretty well. Characters in this require very few things: a cool name, a power type, a single word motivation, what's called a power trigger, which is how you get your power of your chosen color, and then a color, red, green, or blue. We'll also be picking abilities and spending power and gaining power through moves that apply multipliers to extravagant dice rolls. This is a game of essentially trying to make it impossible to use physical dice to play. So we've got, for the first time, I believe, just a policy on this an episode of this podcast of using a dice roller, because otherwise we would be here for weeks. There isn't really an initiative or turn order. There's no GM. As you notice, we all introduce ourselves as players. And the idea is essentially to do anime bullshit until the planet dies. One of the abilities in here is named after a line from Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, if that helps give you some perspective. Things that you can get bonus damage for in here, I'll give you a smattering. These ones gain you power. Verbally insult the planet, cry angry tears, attack from within the planet, survive a brutal strike. Ones that you have to spend power to do include break a mountain, get killed, embody a legend, and of course we cannot forget summon ghosts parentheses literal and summon ghosts parentheses metaphorical. So we are going to treat this as a wild, woolly, and imprecise kind of thing because it is very much in the spirit of the rules. And so if you're having trouble following the mechanics, don't worry, we are too. That is kind of part of the experience. The hope is that we're going to get some glorious, over-the-top ultra-violence and some overwrought nonsense on our way to hitting the milestones. At 10,000 hit points of damage done, 20,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 600,000, a million, 2 million, 2 million, and 5 million. We, at each of those milestones, get to do the downtime phase, called, I believe, Downtime Town, where we get to have conversations or play out flashbacks that explain how all this happened and what we're doing here by answering what the rules call the big questions. We are going to try to keep it mostly linear outside of those flashbacks, though the rules do not require this. I just figure it's easier for the listeners if we do. And otherwise, it's kind of just a free-for-all. We will see how far down the planet's health pool we get, having not played this before. We're just diving in improvisationally here. We have no idea how fast this is going to go. So, we'll play ourselves out in somewhere around 2 hours of your time after the edit is done, and maybe the planet will still be kicking around if we want to come back and beat on it some more later, but otherwise we will just have to leave the rest of the thing to your imagination, although it's possible that we punch a hole through it quicker than we think. Hopefully that gets us, players and listeners alike, in a position where we can get started kicking butt. Any questions from our other players?
It may be worth noting to the listeners that there are some other survivors known as... They do 1 damage to the planet each turn, or rather each player action, with an asterisk related to spending power on.
Indeed. If you do go grab the Games for Gaza bundle, I do recommend giving this a read, even if you're not planning on playing it. It's pretty funny and it's pretty short, 14 pages in total, and it includes lines like... mooks are just down there kicking trees and stamping their feet and literally pounding their fists against rocks and shit. So, if that tickles your funny bone, give this one a read through. It won't take you very long.
Yeah. Seconded. It's flavorful. I'm ready to kick some butt. I also am excited to find out whether this planet has a butt.
Now we're verging on Chuck Tingle.
This will not officially be a tingler, I don't think, but
I was going to say, this planet wishes it was in a Chuck Tingle tingler. It is not going to have that good a time. So, I think given the way that this rule set wants to go, we will pretty much jump right in here, but I am going to make a request for each of our players to give like a physical and maybe attitudinal description of their characters during your first big action. I imagine, too, that our first round of actions will take a while because we will be scrolling through the rules looking for everything that adds a multiplier from it. So, all right. With that, the planet has decided to be a giant asshole and kill everybody. And the 4 of us are fighting back. Who is fighting back at the moment we join the action?
I, resplendent in my headdress, I'm engaged in a ball game. I'm about to spike the ball with my face, but instead of spiking it across the field to my opponent, glistening in the sun, rings which I should not be wearing, bracelets which I certainly should not be wearing, shimmering, I spike the ball directly into this stupid, stupid planet.
All right. So the way this works is that the basic attack roll is 5d6. So, on top of that, it sounds to me like, looking at the multipliers table, you have struck the planet. Seems pretty straightforward. Which adds 1d8 and a multiplier of 2, and you get 1 red power out of the 3 colors, red, green, and blue.
You've used a tool.
Ah, indeed. Which is...
And struck from above.
1d6, another 3 multiplier, a green power, and then striking from above is another 1d6, 2 times multiplier, and 1 red power. And those multipliers do stack. So that's times 2 times 3 times 2 is a times 12 multiplier to your 5d6, 7d6 plus 1d8.
Okay. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7d6 plus 1d8. Rolling. Thank you, Sophie's Dice. So that is 32. What was my multiplier again?
12.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to double check my head math because this is important stuff. So that's 384?
384, yes.
Which, thanks to the mook damage, becomes 385.
I should note, there are mooks in attendance, and of course they see me. I described myself only very briefly, but I do, as I strike the earth, I also strike a pose. I am tall, I am muscular, I consider myself the countenance of a god, and that's specifically because I've had them carve all the countenances to look like me.
I have opened up a calculator on my computer that I will keep a running total of the planet's hit points on.
Very good.
We now stand at...
How does the planet react to that, Drew?
The planet attempts to throw the ball back at me. The ball sinks deep into the crust. I can tell because a little bit of molten material is clinging to it as it springs back up and clips me in the arm. I swing backwards. I do strike another pose as I land. The picture of heroic bravery and resilience, and did I mention handsomeness, on a nearly divine level. However, my arm is singed, actually flaming a little bit, and the ball flies up into parts unknown. It's going to come down at some point.
The mechanical thing of concern there, I think, is that you also struck a pose, meaning you get 1 blue power.
Very good. I think I actually struck a pose when I hit the ball and then also when the earth retaliated. So I think I got 2 blue power there.
That seems reasonable to me. As reasonable as anything in this game is interested in being.
Yeah, reasonable.
If it's reasonable, then I have failed.
Indeed.
Well, I don't know how a GM-less system works, but I mean, on the tails of
Jump
that.
in.
You're talking, Nick. Congratulations.
What? So rule of cool doubled, right? What would be most awesome for you to do and to have happen to you? That's what happens.
All right. So Manbot, the human maneuverer, is a robot piloting an advanced person suit. So as such, he strides out onto the open valley beneath a towering mountain and launches both of his arms at the nearby mountain, jet-powered by blood, like missiles that strike and explode into shards of bone, doing some damage, hopefully.
Cool note. I appreciate that.
Yes. The arms begin to grow back. The mountain shatters into 1,000 pieces, but in the meantime, the Earth is retaliating, opening up a hole in the ozone layer, letting through some electromagnetic radiation, short-circuiting Manbot. And so his meat suit falls limp as it begins to regenerate its pilot temporarily disabled.
How will Manbot get out of this one?
Tune in next time.
Stay tuned next time.
So, Strike
Is
the
this the
Planet
end?
is definitely happening there. It looks like that
Tool.
or special move. I'm not entirely sure.
I think
That's
both.
a special move.
Because it's
special.
your body, but whatever
Yeah.
you decide there. Do you see any others operating here, Nick?
Let's see. I don't know whether I'm surviving a brutal strike. So I would take the special move over the using a tool.
Well, I think that we can stack these to the degree that any of them apply.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I don't think that it's the scale of the threat is 10 million hit points, so I think that 1d6 times 3 is going to come out in the wash.
Okay. Fair point.
My thought.
Okay.
So, yeah, striking the planet is 1d8 and a times 2 plus a red power gain. Yeah, Drew, you did not actually note your power gain from your multipliers.
I did not. That's true.
Yeah, I need to make sure we're keeping up with that because boy, it's going to get out of hand fast.
Okay, so I roll 1d6 and 1d8.
5d6 is your basic attack.
5d6, thank you.
And then 1d8 from striking the planet, another 1d8 from using a special move, and another 1d6 from using a tool. So I think that's 6d6 plus 2d8, and then that'll be 2 times 3 is 6 times 3 is times 18 total, and you'll get 2 green and 1 red power.
Okay, hold on. Trying to use a calculator here. 22 times 18, you said?
18 is your multiplier.
Okay, 396.
396. Okay, so the planet was at 9,999,615, and we're taking off 396, you said?
Yes, 396.
Make it 397 because of our mook damage.
Okay. Yes.
The planet now stands at 9,999,218 points. So we're chugging
basically
right
done
along.
here.
Yeah, I mean, it's doomed. The planet is doomed.
And so for my head, the planet is doomed. Maybe we are too, but that time will tell. What other power should I have taken? Each of those multipliers should have also given me power?
Correct, yes. So there's that table on page 5 of the PDF. Okay. Striking the planet gives you a red power. Gotcha. Using a tool gives you a green power, and striking from above gives you a red power. So you should have gotten 2 red and 1 green.
Gotcha. Understood. We'll be marking those in the future. The editor regrets the error.
So the molten volleyball flies back down to Earth and disturbs the seal in my catacombs, keeping me dormant. And sort of melts through a seal. And then out of the resulting burnt hole in the earth, I sort of emerge like Fantasia's animation to King of...
The Night on Bald Mountain? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, thank you. Exactly. But I am a skeletal dragon with glowing points of light for eyes, and like you might be able to see underneath robes, ? Some inappropriately glowing organs. Don't worry about it, it's fine. And I will look about, curse generally, and gesture at the ground, and green light shoots out of my clawed hand, and everything that it touches ages and withers and ceases to be.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and tot that up and roll it, and then we can see what the planet's action is. So what do you think applies there?
So I've invoked my history.
Yeah.
I've struck the planet. I have not really brushed off an attack. Plausibly. It woke me up.
Yeah, we can count it. You brushed off an attack.
Which I think would then, given my emergence from the hole, trigger my flawless recovery from planetary attack.
Right, which is your getting your
power trigger.
Red power, on your character sheet there. Okay.
And I have used a special move.
Indeed. So, invoking your history is 1d6, 1 blue power, and times 2. Striking the planet is 1d8, times 2, and 1 red power. Using a special move is 1d8, times 3, and a green power. Brushing off
Do we think that using magic counts as a tool?
I think that is up to each person to decide for themselves. I am not...
And I have used a tool.
Okay. Brushing off an attack is 1d4 times 2, no power gain, and using a tool is 1d6 times 3, and 1 green power. I don't think I missed anything.
No. So in total, that is a blue, 2 red, a green, 2 green. So 1 blue, 2 red, 2 green as power acquisition.
All right.
What is my multiplier there? Did we get to?
Let's see. That's times 2. Times 2 is 4. Times 3 is 12. Times 2 is 24. Times 3 is 72.
So I rolled 34, meaning that I have done 2,448 damage to the planet.
Yes.
2,449 with the mooks.
Yes.
Excellent. So yeah, we are officially only 3 9s at the leading edge of the planet's HP now. Well on our way to our first milestone, I dare say. Not quite halfway there. All right.
And I think that instead of having the planet just iteratively attack each of us, I will instead say that its response is to hyper-verdantly grow thorns, jungle, kudzu, what have you, around the lot of us.
Yeah, we haven't done a whole lot to establish place, but I had it in my head that we would all be relatively local to one another at the start, at least. So...
the better to combo with your homie.
Exactly. So I, Shine, am... The various chaoses have broken out, and I have mostly been aghast, but getting more and more shaking, angry, sad about it. I have made my way up to the top of the building in which I reside. I am wearing a sort of like athleisure combo of just kind of track pants and a kind of zip up top, and have a sort of odd looking headband combo on that I never seem to take off, that maybe should have been an early clue that I wasn't a real human being, but certainly didn't register with me until recently, and sort of dark and wavy hair kind of cascading down from it, blowing in the breeze here, posing to look morose is the thing that I'm going for, even in character there.
As an aside, I do like that Manbot is discovering what it means to be human, but is manifestly a robot.
Right.
Yes.
And by comparison, there's you.
Indeed. I like the complementary characterizations here. So my eyes glow from behind with kind of a capacitor green, and I start at a growl, elevating to a shout as the thrusters in my hands and feet activate, lifting me off at first slowly and then more and more rapidly into the air. And I end up shouting at the planet, "Right when I was learning what I really was, you had to go and take it from me!" With that, I sort of, having achieved altitude and an angle, yell incoherently at the top of my lungs as my hands hinge down from the wrists, and the rail guns within my forearms open up on the nearby countryside, which so far has been blameless, but, it's only a matter of time until cowardly and dastardly attacks start emerging from the hillsides outside of whatever city I live in. So I think I have invoked my history. I'm striking the planet. I can't cry
from above.
From above, yes.
You verbally insulted it, kind of. I mean, you lashed out at it.
You verbally lambasted.
Okay, so I was trying to take it in the order of the table, but you're right. I probably should have started at the top. So, verbally insulting it, invoking my history, striking the planet. I'm gonna hold off on cry angry tears because it needs to be a dramatic moment when the robot learns how to cry. And I've struck from above. So let me pull my dice roller off to the side where I can see both it and the table. So verbally insult adds a d6. Striking the planet adds a d8. Invoking my history adds a d6. And then striking from above adds a d6. So let me go ahead and roll that. For a 30, the multiplier there is going to be times 2, times 4, times 6, times 12. So is 360, 361 because of the mooks. Can't forget the mooks.
One must not.
So that's going to be almost got us down another thousands place, but not quite. Okay. And then let me just grab my PowerPoints. So that's 1 red, 1 blue, 2 red, 3 red, 1 blue. All right.
Manbot exclaims, "Such passion, such vigor, such I'm overwhelmed. He's not human at all, and yet I'm not sure I've ever seen a more human response to things. Is this the true meaning of humanity? Does it transcend flesh? Is it fighting spirit?"
So I think that one of the things that my attack sort of results in is not a direct retaliation from the planet, but the sort of craters I have made, as I have launched my railgun rounds into the countryside, have fallen away at the bottom, and magma is starting to splash out and roll down towards the city. As the planet decides to make use of the apertures I have opened in the crust.
Mm.
From the plateau where the ball court resides, I can see the plains. I can also see the mountain. I'm sort of at the center of where all of this has been taking place, and of course, brambles have risen up around me, forming a cage. A few thorns sink into my flesh. I deal with it in a very handsome way. I then withdraw my great axe and cut through the brambles. Some of them come loose like vines. I grab one of them and dive into the hole where I struck the earth with the ball, and I'm gone for a moment. The crowd of mooks is hushed. They're worried. They're terrified. They don't know what they would do without me. And suddenly, I pop back out, holding another vine, now aflame. Flames from within the planet take the vines around me, and I scramble down to the countryside with additional brambles on a flame in one hand and a flame in the other to catch the magma and have it stopped by the thorns and to burn all the thorns that had been vexing me. How do you like that, planet? I say.
All right. So that last bit sounds like verbally insulting the planet. You have certainly...
It's going to get worse, but fuck
right,
that planet.
Sure. You have struck the planet.
I attacked from within. Oh, so let's go in order. Yeah.
You've used a tool, the brambles, and you've attacked from within. So those are the 4 that I pick up. Did I miss any?
I think we're good.
All right. So that's going to be your 5d6 base roll plus 1d6 for verbally insult the planet, for 1d8 for strike the planet, 1d6 for use a tool, and 1d8 for attack from within. So I think an additional 2 of each 6 and 8 denomination. Your multiplier is going to be, 2, 4, 12, 24.
All right, so my base roll is 36 times 24 is 864.
864.
Excellent.
So let me go ahead.
865. The mooks are cheering.
Thank you, yes. Nope, that's a typo.
A few of them are on fire, but they don't mind.
That was 865.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And how is the planet retaliating?
Do also remember your power for each of those.
Yes, thank you. I will do that. But first, the planet shakes in rage. The brambles redouble, but this time they're not just brambles, they're aware. Under a thorn is an eye. It opens and it blinks. And perhaps there's a mouth? I don't see a mouth, but the brambles definitely speak, and they say... The new brambles, which can speak and can see, and are still sharp, perhaps sharper than ever, writhe and rise from the earth. Some catch fire, but this does not slow them down.
Metal. Gotta really pick my moments for saying that, I think.
Yeah, this should be wall-to-wall metal if we're doing it right. Yeah.
I shout at the brambles that they are no match, for I have transcended the living.
Hell yeah.
And stretch out the other of my bony hands and summon forth from the tomb out of which I rose my staff. I'm reclaiming a mighty weapon and spending 2 red power for this. And also I'm spending the other 3 power that I gained last turn to manifest or reveal a new ability, namely Arise, you wretched. Every point I spend on mooks is doubled. You begin to see the shape of my plan.
I do.
And with my staff, I hover up into the air and then slam it down onto the earth while still myself floating. And the earth cracks. The magma in the craters flows all into one chasm and is drained from the others, thwarting whatever plan there might have been for that, and opening up a divide between us and the vines. So I have insulted the planet. I have invoked my history. I've struck the planet. Arguable on use a special move. I will let someone else make that declaration.
I think you did. I think that was
Raising the Dead is a necro dragon? Yeah.
I have consulted a relic of my power's source. It didn't really attack me, so I didn't really brush it off. But I have used a tool and struck from above. As well, I spent power to do the resource multipliers. So there's reveal a new ability is a D10, and reclaim a mighty weapon is another D10. So by my count, I'm at 9d6, 3d8, and 2d10. And there's reclaim a mighty weapon and reveal a new ability is a 20 multiplier to start with. Then there's the verbal insult is cumulative 40. Invoking history is 80. Strike the planet is 160. Special move is 580. Power of relic source. Am I doing this right?
I think you are.
Possibly.
This is a perfect combination, this system of anime bullshit and actuarial tables. So I'm pretty sure.
Consult your power's source takes it to 1740. Use a tool takes it to 5220. Strike from above takes it to 10440. And I think that is the end of the multipliers. So
you did that well.
The roll itself is 52 times 10440. Meaning that I have just done 542, 880 damage to this planet.
That'll do.
542 what?
1,880.
Nice.
So I think this puts us into a downtime.
Did we activate the first two downtimes simultaneously? First two or three?
We activated the first several. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we're definitively in downtime. Listener, if you've never seen Des play a video game, what just happened might seem strange. But let me assure you, this is par for the course. This is in character. I suddenly feel very silly about the amount of damage I've done to this planet. I am awestruck by my ancient enemy, this Necro Dragon.
So, in response to this, several orders of magnitude more damage that our comrade Kyrathan has done to the planet, it recoils and puts up defenses. I think we can discuss amongst ourselves where that puts us in our downtime time while we convene, strategize, reminisce, and try to figure out a way to penetrate those defenses, which gives us the opportunity to discuss what they might be. This could be anything that would give us a breather that we would then not immediately use to start punching it again, I guess. Other than that, let your imaginations run wild.
I'm going to say some of that magma flowed into the nearby body of water, and a great city of obsidian rises from the depths. Upon it are merpeople, amphibia people, people who were thought to have been gone from this world. But there's a whole ass city. It seems there are a few more exciting mooks with tails and things. One of them we recognize as my loyal retainer, Rep Timothy. And so I at least am making my way to this newly discovered Unatlantis.
I shall follow
Sorry,
suit.
The term Unatlantis got me.
Yeah, I will definitely follow my ancient enemy to Unatlantis.
Nick, I believe you follow Meat Suit.
Yes, I do.
It was very bad.
It wasn't very bad. It was very, very good.
Hovering.
It was very, at any rate.
Hovering a moment in the air, seeing the destruction wrought by Kyrathan, I shake my head as though to clear it and jet over to Notlantis and set down in the largest, fanciest courtyard where I'm sure Yash will be proceeding to momentarily so that we may convene. Just in case our discussion of it on the other side of my interruption did not make it in, the damage that Dez has done with this impressive attack has gotten us through the first 6 take a break and go to the town milestones out of 11. So I don't.
So we can probably pass at least slightly the rule of 1 conversation per.
Right. I was going to say, I think maybe we each sort of take a dealer's choice of what the sort of like thing our angle or our character is motivating in terms of conversation, flashback, reminiscence, whatever else. And then we can have 6 expenditures on items apiece in our downtime, and then we can go back out to the field. Because whatever you just done did, however you describe that it epithally, is enough that the planet is going to be reassessing its strategy for a minute or two, I think.
I broke the spine of the world.
Now I have that song from Transistor in my head.
I was very, very much going for the 5th season reference.
Yeah, no, sure. I had already thought of that with the whole chasm thing, but I have a Transistor poster right here, so it's never far from my mind.
Fair. Mine is nebulously between there and here, as it were.
Hissing enemy at us was definitely... Sorry, I had the 5th season in mind as well. Hello, little enemy.
Indeed. Yeah. Which you just gave me goosebumps by saying out loud. I had thought of the reference when you said the initial thing, but doing the line gave me goosebumps. Really, really good books.
Real good books.
Extremely.
So, we have collected in Unlantis. And I guess probably that gives Yash initiative here, because, kind of your town.
Ancient terror, I did not think I would see you again. And yet, it seems we share an enemy in common. Your might is beyond anything. I must know the source of your power. Are these automatons you're doing as well?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut in here because I have a very hurt look, and I say, it's true. I'm not human. And I avert my eyes.
The self-directed machines are none of my concern, O enemy mine, although I must admit that I owe for my release. Painful as it is to admit.
I try and fail not to look extremely pleased. My smile is in fact beaming.
Let us, at least for the moment, make common cause. Do you know what has transpired to bring about this change in attitude, the ground beneath our feet?
Oh, it's likely my fault. I was performing the earth-angering ritual that we perform every year. Usually an earthquake here, a volcano there, but this time it seems we've outdone ourselves.
What could go wrong with the earth-angering ritual? It's never gone wrong before.
It's usually good fun. The kids love it especially.
I'm gonna make a chopping gesture right out of Ogre Battle 64 with my left hand. No, it's my fault. I am an affront to nature. All this time masquerading as a person, befriending, and I gesture at Manbot, my good friend, Manbot. Researching.
As you say, affront As you say affront to nature, I'm just sort of vaguely gesturing to the entirety of myself.
Fully ignored.
Manbot's arms are just about grown back at this point.
I didn't mean to lead anyone on, least of all Yash, but perhaps most of all myself. It's my very existence. No, it is too painful.
I must admit that I might also bear part of this blame. I had assumed, based on prior behavior of humanity, that it was intending to exterminate the world. And so
That is fairly accurate.
I made some calculations as to what kinds of actions would cause a cascade event, causing multiple failures all at once, pitting us once and for all against our ultimate enemy, the Earth. Did I make a mistake? Did I miscalculate? Is this not the true nature of humanity?
No, but it is the true nature of the one who created me. I only just found out, but I am a weapon designed to bring about the end of the whole world. And with this, I hold up my right arm and my hand lazily spins around at the wrist with a whirring like a blender on low power.
I look at it as though someone is showing me. I look at it as though someone is showing me their nice car.
Without looking, I will just offhandedly comment, well, since the world now needs ending, your abilities will be useful.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing at this point.
I open and close my mouth a couple times as though looking for something to say, and then settle for staring pensively back at the city that I was just in.
Anime girl cannot handle compliments, however poorly given.
Nor can she handle complications to the narrative she's settled on.
Young warrior, angsty bearer of the apocalypse, we've much to discuss. It seems we could form a company, and this awful Earth could be dead once and for all.
What, like from shareholders?
Precisely.
My lip quivers. I close my eyes and take a deep, unnecessary breath because, reminder, I am not human.
Oh, I think we got that.
I can never be too sure.
Fair. There's no kill like overkill after all.
And I give a resolute nod. If all that is left is to serve the purpose, the sinister and wicked purpose of the one who created me, then I shall do it to the best of my ability.
And you, Botman, you've a part to play in this as well.
I have some degree of conflict about this. I am a robot, an unliving thing wrapped in human flesh, a living thing. Is the Earth not the same? An unliving thing?
Join the club, bud. It's attacking.
With a crust of living on top of it? How dare I attack the crustedness of it? Striking down not only the living, but the unliving beneath. And yet, this is the situation we are in.
I'm just imagining you talking and like your mouth not lining up.
Oh
with
yeah,
the words
it's totally
coming out of
overdone.
Rabbit mouth. Yeah.
The mouth only mutes or unmutes, and not entirely. I mean, in the sense of like a trumpet with a mute on it. You know, it's just going. He keeps talking even when his mouth closes, and his mouth is just kind of yabbering open and closed pretty randomly.
It's like if you zoom in a game where they didn't actually do lip sync. They're just going ba 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 ba.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good Lord.
The true nature of being human is to be truth wrapped in crust. The true nature of humanity is conflict. So if we are to be a company, the question is this to the enormous, necrotic, fearsome dragon. Can we forgive?
At least for the moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
An agreement then to let slip past wrongs, at least until the next round of them.
Let us end this world that we may find some other way to commit new and interesting wrongs.
The way we're interacting with each other right here is just so very, like, one particular villain in Final Fantasy XIV.
You're not wrong. I learned it by the game you made me play, okay?
Oh, yes, I made you play
did. You forced me. You forced me a Dragon Point.
He learned it from you.
I'm going to say that...
I suspect this is probably enough.
I will say that the Notlantians have gathered and have watched this, and they, at this forming of an accord, they have begun to cheer and hurl chunks of obsidian into the sea. And whether this does any harm to the planet or any significant harm hardly matters. They're getting into the spirit.
Well, that's good. I have held that significant breath that I took until a break in the conversation. So that I could make sure that it was obvious when I sighed gustily, and sort of head hanging, a sad cast to my eyes, I gesture at Rep Timothy and say, even your servant is flesh and blood naturally occurring. If my only purpose that I can serve is to usher the world out when it has become uninhabitable, then I shall do so, and in doing so prove that I have will of my own in choosing the fate accorded to me. And I make a fist that sort of makes a metal creaking sound after a moment. And go ahead.
I will pat you on the shoulder and just mutter, "Cheer up."
I do not know what that means, but I will try. Show me, great king, to your armory, that we may prepare to end this abominable world once and for all.
Please also show us to your leggery.
I pause.
Indeed, two
and
doors
nod solemnly.
2 doors open before us, one being the armory, the other the leggery. The arms.
Also, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did it pain you to say Rep Timothy?
I plead the fifth.
5 million hit points of psychic damage. 2 great doors open, one to the armory, one to the leggery. The arms, the armor, the legs, the legger, all formed of obsidian.
Yes.
The arms, the
This is a
armor,
reference.
the legs, the
So
legger.
I see another axe covered in seaweed, which I brush off. This is an ancient weapon, which was thought to be lost. This means that I can wield an axe in each hand. This actually was the axe that my great-great-great-grandfather used in the Great Dragon War. So to wield it here is to make things right, perhaps.
Is the first axe wielder a hereditary title?
Each is the first, and each the last.
I have no questions.
I say this as I am getting the balance of my new axe and flicking off a starfish.
That starfish was the second axe wielder.
It does have a tiny axe if you look very carefully, but a couple of them actually.
So what is the mechanical stake of our gear spendings? Are we accruing multiple, or
So yeah,
I was adding that I am spending to recover an ancient what is the exact phraseology? Reclaim a mighty weapon.
I think the reclaim a mighty weapon is during an action
it is.
thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's on the page after the milestones where someday there may be a fancy graphic. There's the page of items.
Page 11.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We have essentially 6 checkpoints worth here. So you get to pick one up or upgrade an existing one whenever you hit this phase. Mostly they exist to boost how rapidly you draw power. So Drew, you've done the right thing by making it less generic, than the entries here. But basically, it's 1 spend to pick one up and 1 spend to upgrade it, and we have 6 each, thanks to Dez's insane multiplier stacking.
You're welcome, everyone.
I did the right thing in the wrong way. So I will make one of mine a weapon, which will double all of the red power gained. I will also upgrade it, which quadruples all of the red power gained.
These multipliers can get quite absurd quite quickly, so please do note them somewhere where you will see them, because...
Yep. I think I am going to get a cape, and I'm going to upgrade it by making it like a slut cape. Just imagine, a cape that would be stylish and fitting on a humanoid person, just sort of lazily draped off of one shoulder of this Dracolich.
Oh, I'm imagining it.
Uh-huh.
You better...
You can't stop me from imagining it.
Thirstpunks.com.
So if we're doing maybe go around and each do one and then go around and each do another, I'm gonna assume that we're gonna be probably mostly upgrading the ones that we pick up. So I think that I wander into the leggery out of curiosity as to what it will contain, and pick up a large, intricate, like bronze and semi-precious stone amulet, and looking at it, kind of rotating it in my hand, I sort of pull down the zipper of my athleisure top and use a couple of worryingly sharp and uncomfortable looking gestures to seat it just below where my collarbone would be if I had a real human's skeleton, right in my chassis, and glow suffuses from behind it as I incorporate it into my circuitry, representing getting an amulet and upgrading it so it will quadruple all of the green power gained.
Nice. What are you getting, Nick?
That is a good question. A less good question, but one I've got nonetheless, is what is the function of the different colors of power? Because it seems like you can just unlock new abilities by spending power total.
The specific multipliers appear to cost... So
if you're looking at resource breaking a mountain, summoning ghosts, those cost specific kinds of power.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and then the abilities do just cost generic power. Mooks are boosted by just generic power.
Yeah. Okay. So...
Yeah, the color's only relevant for the resource costs.
Okay.
Which is an interesting sort of vestigial mechanic.
I see. Okay. Right. So
I have 2 more picks if you need a minute.
Oh yeah, sure. That'll give me just the time that I need.
As I am preparing my axe, sharpening the blade and such forth, Rep Timothy asks if he can join our retinue. This is going to be an ally in mechanical terms. I'm sorry.
You're
Timothy. We are in this together. I am immediately going to upgrade Rep Timothy by making him a warrior of the order, which means that not only will we pick 1 free ability per beatdown phase, but pick 1 free ability per beatdown phase and give another player an additional free ability once per beatdown phase. So this is a beatdown phase is in between these breaks, right?
It's when we're actively fighting.
Yep.
Gotcha.
The bastard planet.
So we have skipped a fair amount of the utility of this, but that's fine.
I think we'll be all right.
It'll take some of the record keeping.
That's probably true. Rep Timothy's neck flares in happiness at being welcomed into the party, but he didn't actually come to try and join the party. He came to bring me something that he found in the armory, the legery, or perhaps the back chambers, which is an ancient codex. It actually tells the story does of you being sealed away, so I sheepishly tuck it away. It's a little too soon. However, it does give me power, so it's going to add +1 to the dice that I roll.
I think the upgrade to it is the melding of the book that is my side of that story.
Ooh, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. So
it is now a balanced history.
That's rad. That's rad. Yeah, so that's going to be +2 to all dice that I roll.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
so every
books are real good multipliers. Yeah.
Every individual die gets +2 to it. Yeah.
So I learned something about myself and the complicated nature of history, and I got a pretty good multiplier. Those are my 6 picks because I got 3 things and upgraded them all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I've at least got a start, and then we can go from there. So I do notice that a cape has already been taken, so instead I'm just going to reflavor that as capers. So I find...
Just have a really nice jar of capers. That's phenomenal.
I'm rooting around in Legery, and behind some, ancient and powerful glowing weapon, I toss that aside, grab a jar of capers, and chuck those in my mouth. And then those are really tasty. So I look around and find a second jar of capers and chuck those in my mouth as well. So I've got an upgraded capers.
They were so good that they quadruple all power gained.
Yes, exactly.
So, go ahead.
You ever had a really good caper? They kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, capers are kind of incredible. So I am going to sway Rep Timothy to my side as well by enhancing his physique and giving him wings.
Ooh.
So in a brief moment of exquisite, we will be blocking this out because pain, bone sprouts from his back and spreads with diaphanous layers of green, that same green energy. And now he can fly. So he's both of them.
And he's been upgraded.
Indeed.
Looking somewhat wide-eyed at Carathon's cape, this full-size human cape hanging off of a shoulder, I actually find one of those little human-sized like duelists half capes that like kind of hangs off to one side, and
so the same vibe, just appropriately resized.
Precisely, yes. I'm actually looking at how you're wearing yours and trying to make sure that like mine is kind of like matching in style and whatnot, but looking away anytime I think somebody might be watching me. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of, catching sight of some of my surroundings, and I find a really fancy clasp chain, to go around that side of my neck, upgrading it as well. So I'm going to also have power gain quadrupled and now have used the 4 out of my 6 picks here, I believe.
What was your first?
An amulet.
In terms of mechanical?
Times 4 green power.
I think that for my final pick, I will take my staff into the armory and dismantle half a dozen different similar staves and just, here's a crystal of power. Yes, this gold filigree will do, and lovely snakes. Twine that around the staff. So I have now combined a bunch of different staves into upgrading my own staff into truly unimaginable.
And yet we will soon be
Quadrupling
called
my-
upon to imagine it.
Indeed, numerically.
Yeah. To quantify it even.
So I have an upgraded weapon quadrupling all of my red power gain.
Indeed.
And, of course, an upgraded Rep Timothy. Robin will be so pleased to hear.
Indeed.
We've improved him.
We've made him better, stronger. He can fly now.
We have the repnology.
Ooh. I hate that. Good job.
I regretted it before I was done saying it, but here we are.
No, be proud. Be appalled, but be proud.
Mhm.
So
Words to live by.
I will spend my last 2 picks finally leaving the leggery and heading over to the armory. I end up finding a somewhat tarnished crown, seemingly shaped out of the bronze it is made from by hand, lumpy and uneven, but set with what seemed to be large emeralds. And staring at it for a moment, I reach up and pull the sort of headband type thing off of the covering of my chassis, revealing the workings of my head behind it, and place the crown where it went. Little whirring cybernetic looking arm, little grabby things, just seating it in place, replacing what had been a very 1980s kind of affectation with something, well, I hesitate to say more dignified, but that's certainly how I see it.
I think that you've certainly gone up in the world in sort of a, like, fin de siècle, like, revamp of your style.
And so with all of the sort of techno nonsense grafted into it, it has also been upgraded, and this is gaining 2 green power for every trigger that I use.
It's interesting to see how we're all sort of min-maxing differently.
Mhm.
I'm going to throw that to the wind for my next choice. And rather than choosing something effective, I'm going to choose something funny. So,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
rooting around in the leggery, I find an ancient suit of a technological armor of some sort, an exoskeleton, if you will. It is mechanical and super advanced, using an ancient yet powerful energy source. And so I don that on top
Are we
of my
talking
meat
like coal power here?
coal-powered. I'm thinking a little more advanced than that, perhaps. Some long forgotten civilization that was super advanced, maybe from the stars, God knows. Maybe we can track them down.
The History Channel does.
Right, exactly.
Look, I'm not saying it was aliens.
Right. We should probably make friends with those aliens because we're in the process of trying to kill our planet. So, essentially, I am becoming a biomechanical turducken. So I am a robot piloting a human suit, piloting a robot suit.
What?
Termecan, if you will.
Ooh, good, yes.
And
what is the mechanical thing that this is?
it's an Iron Man suit, essentially.
No, on the items.
I see. It doesn't even really matter.
It sounds like a weapon to me, but
So,
It could be weapon, it could be armor.
yeah, I was thinking armor, layered
Yeah.
defensive armor, doubles blue power gained.
Yeah.
And then for the upgraded version, of course, I have to go back to biological. So,
where does the skin come from?
I find a recently deceased giant of the deeps, easily 20 feet tall, and I work on excavating this larger humanoid so that my exoskeleton can fit. And inside of that,
Nick?
yes.
It is worrying the number of different games that I have been involved in with you in which you have in character skinned something else as part of a character action.
And part of a character outfit too.
What can I say? I like wearing people and things. Okay, yeah. So, and then the third artifact that I will gain, this time going up to the armory and rooting through, and knowledge is power, and a book is power stored. And so I will root through and I will find a book called A Memory Called Empire. And so that catches, Manbot's attention. And of course, Speed reads through it in about 3 seconds and says, so that's what it means to be human. To exert one's power over others in an imperial form with zero consequences. Yes. All right, well, let us gather.
I'm reading over your shoulder and nodding.
Let us.
Disclaimer, dear listeners, that is not at all what the book is about, but it's very good.
Let us gather our nascent empire then, and venture forth to conquer the world.
Indeed.
So, Rep Timothy being both of our ally, we each pick a power for ourselves and for the other. Is that correct? Or for someone?
And for an other, yes.
An other. Okay. So I was thinking multipliers on multipliers. If we are no longer ancient enemies, we're immediately homies in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So I was thinking I would bestow upon both myself and you the homies modifier, which means whenever either of us does something that would make the other fist bump them, that action gets plus 10d6.
Oh.
That seemed like the most character flavorful and also the most broken thing to do. So
yeah. So I think I will build off of that and give us both. Sorry to the other two of you. This does just seem the best way to break the game.
You're good.
I'm going to give us both, Drew, pay the front line.
Okay. We should say what that is?
Yes, for the listeners.
Yeah. So all dice, not just the base 5d6 damage, now explode on 6s. This means that d4s don't explode, but they're d4s, right, yeah. So whatever.
And
on the other hand, it means that d10s explode on
right, yeah,
6s.
D8 to D10s, yeah, explode on 6s. So that will, I think, become extremely relevant very soon. So, as we are...
There is steam and obsidian between us and the planet, which I suppose is, as it turns out, not very much at all between us and the planet.
I would say that probably by this time, the billowing steam is probably starting to clear... and the planet is, clearly rallied as much as it's going to. So it is time for us to take the field again. In fact, I will probably say as much, but in anime brooding speak. So walking back out onto the wide plaza on which I originally landed, the wind whipping the legs of my athleisure wear around my calves, and my hair flowing back from my new crown, I look up into this, thinning steam, and I say with as much portent as I can muster, "The earth calls for us to kick its ass," and then I blast back off and shoot towards the nearest or at least sparsely inhabited pieces of landscape to begin the assault anew.
To no one in particular, I say, the kids are all right.
Well, some of them.
Some less so. True.
I mean, technically none of them. Everyone else is dead.
Most of them are... the great majority are dead. That's the... Well.
I mean, less all the children on Earth are our mooks, but otherwise they're very much not all right.
I think that would make it more grim than we really want.
I was going to say,
The mooks are not exclusive.
You mean to have child soldiers destroying the world?
Let's be clear, the mooks are not exclusively children, but any children that are left would be mooks within the rule set. That's rectangle, square,
yes.
Square, rectangle. Yeah, okay.
Terrible geometry going on here.
So I have blasted off toward the horizon, and from where you guys are posted up, what you would see is just me sort of zipping to and fro and dipping to the surface every once in a while, very briefly until I disappear over the horizon. And who knows where I am until I reappear after a couple other turns are taken.
I like it. Well, I think the very first thing I do is pledge our new fellowship, which of course does mean I'm forgiving an old enemy.
Indeed.
Whether the old enemy forgives me is his affair, but
right, there's a reciprocity to
yes,
it.
Indeed, except when there isn't. So, I dive into the sea. I go down and down and down until I'm actually going up, Beowulf style. And I begin hacking through layers of obsidian. The planet responds by sending tendrils at me, stone tentacles, some of which have eyes, all of which shout and hiss at me and attempt to destroy my very senses. I hack away at them and get closer and closer to what may be the source of this particular onslaught. I go deeper and deeper, by which I mean higher and higher, until I arrive in a chamber, and I am looking at a much larger version of one of the eyes from one of the brambles. It is bloodshot. It is serving Zelda boss. So I would say I have, I have used a tool. I have spent a green to forgive an old enemy. Let me keep better track here. Hang on. So let's see. We got my base. If Des thinks that was awesome, that's going to be a ×10 multiplier.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That is always up to Des. Hold on, adding here. I have great. I don't think I broke a mountain. Obsidian under the water is not a mountain. Let's not be silly.
Right.
Okay. So that would mean we are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus. This is really overwhelming, dear listener. For this, it isn't even that much of a table, but it's just so many things that can happen. Mm-hmm. We are adding 1d8 right there. So that is a ×4 multiplier. So actually, it's a ×40 multiplier because Des thought it was cool. We're using a tool, so that's 1d6. I don't know how much of this muttering we're going to cut out, but it is absolutely core to the experience.
It sure is.
Yeah, no, I think that the muttering really should be kind of left in if glossed over.
You don't even at least have some of that. You don't know what you're getting in for.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so sorry, let me restart this. So it's 3. We didn't do a combo with the homie. I just sort of went off on my own. That's okay. So that is 6. That is 2. You're not just adding up multiplier. Yeah, okay. That's just you're adding up your multipliers. I got it. I understand. So that is 8.
I suspect we may actually be doing the multipliers wrong. That is to say, I think that we should be totaling the multipliers rather than multiplying the multipliers.
Incorrect. It says multipliers are multiplicative, which is to say they stack.
Okay.
Okay.
In the
All
text
right.
of the game.
Let me do this math one more time then. Very sorry. Okay,
good.
so 2 times time 3 times 2 times 2 times.
If there's any teachers or teachers listening, it might be a good way to teach math. I mean,
A way anyway.
it's a way to teach math.
Okay, I am rolling these dice finally.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 28, but it also has 2 6s. So that's just I roll 2 more.
Remember,
Yes,
listeners.
those
more
explode.
dice, right?
Yeah, 2 more dice.
Okay. So 28, no 6s that time. So 28 plus 5, which is 33 times 960. A modest 31,680 damage.
All right. 31,681 damage. So let me update our running total.
Rep Timothy with an "and I helped."
Okay.
It is really joyful how much bullshit there is to keep track of in this game.
Yes.
It's honestly
it's
one
very
of those
good.
things where I don't know how good of a radio experience it's going to be, but it continues to be entertaining, at least for me as I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if this seems like an appropriate moment to interject, then as the warrior Yash Yopat dives into the depths of the earth, that will inspire Manbot to do the same. You attack the sea, I shall attack the land. And he dives into the ocean with his new giant robot frame, with a smaller giant robot frame inside. Anyway, he's a larger version of himself, and so he swims across the ocean at blinding speed, and then reaches shore and musters all of his strength, raising his hand up towards the heavens, and crashes a fist down through the obsidian shell of the earth. And having made a dent in the crust, turns around and starts chomping his teeth into the crust. Faster and faster and faster, blinding speed. Probably some, what do they call them? Sonic booms going off from the sheer clash of teeth against the crust. And then he starts moving and burrowing through the earth, powered by biological jets of natural gas. The sound adding to the sonic boom.
Nick, you're incredible.
Thank you.
It's true.
Now, so that may or may not count as if my action is funny, I add a 4 times multiplier.
That does.
Yes,
that
you
does.
Okay,
Natural
so
gas, always funny.
let's see. Could somebody help me to keep track? I did not verbally insult the earth. So that's an oversight on my part. I have struck the planet,
Nobody's
I think.
perfect.
So that's a 1d8.
You've struck the earth and struck from within.
Yes, I have. I think that this is a special
You've
move.
invoked your history. It certainly is special.
Invoked history?
Yeah. You invoked your
that is
nature
true.
of a Termegan.
Yes, exactly.
You did, that's true.
All right.
And I think that might be it. So what are we up to?
I would say you're comboing with your homie.
Does he have a homie mechanically?
I mean, combo with your homie is just anyone of the
that's
party.
just the
Okay,
multiplier.
gotcha.
So
yeah.
he did start with you attack the sea. I will
that's
attack
true.
the land.
Yeah.
That's totally true.
Which
I was
is-
yeah.
All right. So I have not noted down all of the power gain that involves,
That's
which
fine.
you'll
I
need to
can do
apply
that
your
later.
items to. But what I have here is 4d8 and 1d6, and then let's see, that's 8,
96
16.
multiplier.
Oh, thank
yeah.
you.
How many d6s?
So a total of 6d6 with your basic attack dice.
Okay.
And then 4d8, and then multiply that by 96.
Okay, roll. And then... So that's
It's
39
gonna take a
times
village to
96.
keep track of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've started writing them
49.
down as we go.
Times 96. And
Did you
then
include your,
times 4 as well.
You found a book, right?
That's true. Yes, I did find a book. Gosh, that's going to complicate things a little bit. Let me undo some of my math.
It's just add 2 times the number of dice that you rolled to the
pre-multiplier
bit that you
total.
multiply by. Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
so I rolled 66 and 4d8, and the result of that is 39.
So you'll be adding
To
20.
the result before you multiply it.
Okay, so plus 20. And then did we already include the times 4 for doing something funny?
I believe that was in the 96, wasn't it?
Okay, great.
It was in the
okay.
96, yeah.
So that's 59 times 96 is 5,664.
5,665.
Oh, thank
Thanks to
you.
our
Yep,
mooks.
because of the mooks.
All right.
I will
let
also
me-
note that I forgot to
So-
do the book thing. I did a little
update
quick math
total.
over here. So the difference, which we should add to the running total, is an additional 7,680 damage.
Jesus. All right, hang on. An additional 7,600 and...
And 80.
80.
Not an 81, because we already accounted for the
we
mooks
already
on my
accounted for
turn.
mooks,
Yep.
yeah. All right, so let me update that again. Let's copy.
Because reading is fundamental.
Quite. Okay. Yeah. In case the listener wasn't sure about it, these numbers are indeed big.
So
uh,
I am going to start off by revealing a new power that is already sort of inherent in the character. I'm taking Vegeta moment.
right.
I was evil once, but now I'm one of the goodies.
Sure.
When I act evil, but in a good way, add a ×4 multiplier. In service of destroying the world and building off of the attacks on the sea and the land, I will attack the air.
Nice.
Yay!
I think this counts as evil in a good way.
Yeah, which is, what's the multiplier on that again?
×4 multiplier.
×4, all right. I'm keeping track of them on my screen.
And then a ×10 multiplier for the reveal a new power.
That's
I too
×4, I think, for revealing a new power.
Oh right, yes, no.
It's a D10
Times 10.
Reveal. Yeah, it's D10 ×4. Right.
You do have a times 10 coming, which is the fact that you're synergizing with a homie.
Yep.
And actually, there's two, right? Because there's your...
There's 2 of those.
Right.
One is your discretionary, and one is the mere fact one.
Correct.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because I am also going to spend a red power to return to life.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fun.
As a way of fueling the necromantic energy of my attack on the air.
Mhm.
So I am pulling all of the life out of the air into myself.
Okay.
And I've as well forgiven an old enemy. So currently I'm spending the 2 on Vegeta moment, a green and a red, and a blue as well to summon ghosts with the leftover necromantic energy.
×5.
Is that the total multipliers?
No, that's the total multipliers that I'm paying power for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, then we have the
Power
gain multipliers.
Running total, by the way, is 1,280 as a multiplier so far.
That's not what I've got, but I'll trust you on it.
Maybe I'm wrong. It happened once before.
Well, and I've also had to scratch something out, so I assume that I'm wrong.
I will rise further into the air, powered by the glory of my staff and my slut cave. And shout at the ambient planetary everywhere. Breathe this, you son of a bitch. So that is me verbally insulting the planet and invoking my history by returning to life. And I don't know whether this counts as striking the planet, because I'm taking all of the life out of the air.
And the word strike there maybe doesn't seem particularly apt, but again, I'm not here to tell anybody what is and isn't striking the planet. You get to pick your own multipliers.
Sure, we'll take it, because why not? I'm definitely using a special move. And definitely powering it through my upgraded relic of my powers source. I have comboed with my homie. There's been no attacks here. I am using a tool. I am striking from above. I think that is the full sum of the multipliers going on here.
I must have fucked this up at some point. Damn it. Because it just said that the multiplier was 368,000, which can't be right. I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't think it is.
I'm gonna just run down the list that I've got, and if I get close to that, then maybe we're right.
This is part of why I think that the multipliers have to be additive rather than multiplicative, but
I mean, it says multiplicative in the text of the rules.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So it may have intended the other thing, but
I just feel a little bit bad being, the extremely broken one by just stacking multipliers, but also, like, it's entertaining.
Someone has to kill this planet.
You're also not the only one who was writing down a whole litany of stacked multipliers either. So, because I actually just realized I left one off of the list of things that I was about to do. If indeed there are any points left after this to do. My thing that I came up with was even more absurd than what Drew came up with. So I'm going to let him run the math again, and we'll go with whatever number he's got when that happens.
Meanwhile, I'm going to start totaling up the number of dice.
For sure.
Did we decide you did or didn't embody a legend? Remind me.
I don't think that
Okay.
I didn't embody a legend, I don't think.
So, that time I got 276,480 as a multiplier, but I should note that is before the times 10 for the Rep Timothy discretionary homie situation.
So, in other words, I'm going to kill this planet several times over.
That does seem likely. But the math is the math, and I'm gonna scroll down to the play example they've got down here, and see what's up. And the example they've got here has them rolling 12 dice total with a 26 multiplier.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. Leave it up to you guys how we want to play it, I guess.
I think perhaps in the spirit of brevity,
maybe we do have a
we do
clock.
We do this, and then Adam and Nick can also get their attacks in, just as like a spirit of play type thing.
Well, I have a whole little thing written down here that would be both of us doing a thing as homies. So
nice.
We can multiply out what you were doing with consistent rules, and then do a power of friendship kicker, and then however much or
awesome.
little.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to go. So what I've got is 96, 2d10, 5d8, and a d12. Does that sound right? Do we give it down?
I mean,
wait, how many
roll
dice?
That.
96, 2d10, 5d8, and a d12.
That, I think, is correct.
Yeah. I definitely thought you said 96 of something for a second. And I was
and I didn't roll a single 6.
Well, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But, that's a total of 78 times what's the multiplier?
Is it 78? Did you add the book already? Oh, you don't have a book. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a book.
Odd.
The multiplier was in the millions. So, I mean...
The planet has 9.4 million hit points left.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Going into this.
What's the full?
Assuming we did this right. By which I mean wrong, by
Because
which I mean right. You just did 215,654,400 damage to this stupid
give me a
fucking
second
planet.
because it gets even worse. So out of this, I got 16 red, 4 blue.
The mook damage never went up past
I was going to
one.
say, yes, you need to make sure to add
No.
damage
We're about to do that. We're so I have 3 power remaining to start with. Now I'm totaling up the power I've gotten from
While
this.
you do that, I'm going to recommend I'll do my thing, and then the mooks can be invested with power and do their thing as the coup de grace. So, I disappeared over the horizon doing God knows what, flitting here and there. You couldn't quite see me. But what I was actually doing is strategically placing a web of the warheads that I had been loaded with around an analysis of the tectonic plates of the planet. So I have been flying over and under the surface. I have been, zipping hither and thither and precisely placing these things both on the surface and under the surface of the planet. And then I emerge, trailing magma and even maybe parts of the iron core of the planet. And my sort of external dermis, all of my hair, the non-mechanical parts of me, my athleisure outfit, have all burned off, revealing the mechanical nature underneath. I emerge in the vicinity of Manbot, feeling a deep sympathy for another robotic construction who's searching for their humanity, which is my revealing ability of homies with my kind of sympathetic person here. I shatter the mountain that I have come up from, and I have, trailing all of this matter, I encase Manbot's mech-duckin in another layer of armor made from our enemy, and I tearfully shout, the most human thing.
So are these angry
tears? Angry tears. I am crying molten lead.
Metal, but like actually though.
Yeah.
And I gird Manbot in an extra layer of armor made from the flesh of our enemy, and I said, "This is what it means to be human, to take the bastards out with their own flesh and blood." Which I'm also going to count as verbally insulting the planet. And then a gigantic array of missile tubes comes out of God knows where inside of my construction, and launches hypersonic missiles at all of the individual warheads that I've already left trailing behind me, forming a web around the entire circumference of the Earth, attacking from both within and above. I go on to monologue a little bit more, and say, "This is what Skeledrus Vex was imagining when he named me Solar Humanoid Eruptive Nascent Eschaton. I will shine for my friends!" And with a rocket boost, I hurl Manbot at the critical weak point in the geo web that I've put together of warheads. Somehow managing in all of this cacophony to whisper, "Strike true, my friend." And yes, you can. Whatever it is you're about to say, you can.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, as I speed along the trajectory that you've sent me towards, I am using the biomass and the rock and material that I've gathered in my burrowing through the earth to sprout new arms, new legs, a second head, all the while kind of screaming in unison through my multiple heads sprouting. I'm doing it. I'm becoming more human. Shine on, my friend.
So,
Say, as you're doing this, the eyeball that I've been confronting at the bottom of the ocean is looking around in a very worried fashion. It has begun to reverse cry all of the ocean's waters into itself, as though to protect itself, but protection is not coming. Shards and magma and smoke are entering the sphere that it's trying to use to protect itself. I've not struck a single blow, but what I can do is pick the eye up and prepare to hurl it into the endless vacuum of space as this planet dies around me.
So, point of order on the whole death thing. So I got 64 power.
I'm gonna roll this. So there's gonna be another number to go along with this. So go ahead.
Oh, no.
No. I know. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just noting that's still to come.
I had 3 other power, totaling 67 power, which I am dumping entirely into the books. And I have the ability Necromancer, which, where did I put that? Oh, no, I never actually used that. That's a shame. Oh, well, doesn't actually matter. Just character at that point. But I also have Arise Ye Wretched. Each point that I spend on mooks is doubled. So that 67 becomes 134 as a ×2 multiplier each of those 134 times. The math on that looks like a result of 2.1778 e to the 40.
I was going to make a good faith attempt to total up at the end how dead the planet was, but this is looking impossible.
That is a bit quixotic. So what I am standing at now is a result of 107 on my roll with a multiplier of 230,400, nice. And I haven't exploded any of my 6s yet. So give me a second to explode some 6s.
Amazing.
And I'm just happy to be here.
That's
increasingly
3, 4,
no, you're just 5. Happy to be payload.
Yes. I had to explode 5 6s real quick. So that's gonna add another 16, and I got to explode 1 more 6 from that, which actually I believe is 2 more, given the exploding 6s. So, okay, so that's 107. I'm going to abandon the running total of planet HP for this because it's super dead no matter what. 107 plus 16 plus 8 equals 131 times 230,400 is a little over 30 million plus whatever the mooks have got going on at this point.
Yeah, so I think the way that I am powering up the mooks is I am literally raising every skeleton on Earth all at once.
That's a lot of skeletons, just for the record.
Yeah, no, like the whole Parisian catacombs.
Right.
The whole New Orleans, I suppose.
I mean, maybe at this point, everyeverything that's ever died.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
From protozoans on up.
As I rise up with the eye, and as I realize that empires are not built on one, and the greatest sports are team sports, leviathans rise skeletal and ethereal around me, protozoans as well, protozoan ghosts, ghosts, again I rise, and there's magma, and there is the most human-looking machine I've ever seen. An infinity of heads and arms. It's just...
it's so human.
Somehow very, very...
It's discovered all of the meanings of what it means to be human.
One for each head.
Exactly.
I feel the importance of friendship in a new way as the world dies around me, and I, for my part, hurl this eye into the sun.
A very Gladys finale there.
Who put the infinity symbol on the sheet?
That was me. The planet's HP now reads negative infinity out of 10 million, dear listener.
Des, did you do the math on what the mook damage is up to? Did we get that?
2.177 times e to the 40.
So that's what gets added to my 30 million.
Yeah. No, this is team day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone gets the benefit.
Everyone plays this Club Cranium.
I set off Mike that this was an idle game, and I didn't realize how right I was, right, in terms of...
And
let me total up what
everyone else can contribute their powers to it as well, to increase
I was going to say,
even
whatever
further.
I did get from those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things that I combined in my last attack definitely gets poured into the mooks, so I think we're, well beyond countable numbers at this point.
Well, it's 12. Okay, so that takes it up a further 3 orders of magnitude. 8.9202 times e to the 43. Well, e to the 43 times 10 to the 43.
So,
I
think the way that this works is that, perhaps unbeknownst to me when I was planting them, these warheads were, I don't know, like antimatter or something, and then all of the angry ghosts and skeletons start just ripping individual rocks and pieces of crust apart, and we end up with essentially what will become a nebula or an asteroid field or both. But looking around a moment as everything drifts into a vacuum and the atmosphere disperses, I see the skeletons, the corpses, the ghosts floating away, and I turn to my friends and I say, we can't let all of our community drift apart like this. Help me get everyone into one place. With my out of character goal here being that we eventually basically
a black hole,
an artificial landmass made entirely of bones. Just a floating city in space that we can live on from now on that is made of bones.
I will command the ghosts and the skeletons that I have raised and imbue all of them with a great deal of shining green toxic power.
Meanwhile,
to gather themselves all together as you have suggested.
And I will zip around on my jets, getting all of the living, such as they are, back to the surface of this.
All like 6 of them?
The world's a big place. There might be 12. So that we can begin civilization anew on the bones of the old world. Not that my character would say it that way.
Not that they would be able to survive on a bone citadel, but never mind that. That's what necromancy is.
If we get enough bones together, it will grab some of the atmosphere before it disperses. We can make this work. Plus, we had a whole society underwater.
Depending on how you count, throwing the eye into the sun did an additional 68 million damage. So.
Nice.
So I do think that we were probably supposed to add the multipliers together and not multiply them, but I also do think that the way we did it is...
It made for funnier radio.
Funnier, and also the only way we were going to beat the planet in a one-shot. So apologies if we, kind of wrecked the whole thing, but also, I don't know, this was fun. Gonzo...
The mooks absolutely were within the...
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Which is terrifying.
No, which means we would have broken it in short order anyway. Plus, I mean, it was a very fun system, and if we want to revisit it, I mean, we're now on a ship/planet of the dead. Other planets may need to die.
I was gonna say, I think we have
this begins to have a Tamsin Mirror vibe.
I think we may have basically played through a prequel to Worlds of Cinnabar, if my recollection of that system is correct from 14 years ago. But it's a game that has, for example, a weapon called a Midnight Sunstone Bazooka. I
don't know how that works, but
exactly,
I want.
And I want to listen to that album too. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually exist, so it can't be our As the Poet once said for this episode. But I think we drift off into the cosmos, leaving the dust of this bastard planet behind us. And we bury the hatchet among the bones between our dragon and our god king. And we have a predator handshake between our man bot and our bot man.
Yes.
And for my part, I, Shine, am feeling very fulfilled because I fulfilled my purpose, and it was actually pro-social to a degree. Who knew?
Yeah, Manbot is also feeling quite pleased. He discovered the true meaning of what it means to be human, to drift through the empty void on a planet made of bone and ghosts.
No errors
Yash ended
detected.
an ancient rivalry, created a new rivalry, ended that rivalry, and dunked. Really good day.
Excellent day.
Yeah, no, it was extremely good. Made peace with an old enemy, raised every dead thing that there has ever been, came back to life.
Love that for you.
Well, thank you, listeners, for going on this weird journey with us. So in the meantime, if a planet fucks with you, kick its ass.
Believe in the power of your friends and multipliers.
When you have your friends with you, you never go unarmed or unlegged.
Folks, this was very silly. Don't be afraid to be silly.
And as the poet once said, I can see within your heart, you're meant for a greater part. You'll need me now more than ever. I can help you make it better. Would you like to taste eternity? Welcome to the end.
Thank you for tuning in, dear listeners, and stick around through the admin stuff for an unusually sultry Adams ad. 2 of the songs in this episode, Ready, Aim, Fire and Noise Attack, are by Kevin MacLeod and available under the Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license at incompetech.com. Find the link and complete credit info in the show notes. Theme of the Dice Punks is by Yashapot, aka Drew. The podcast cover art and editing was done by Joanne, who's appeared on the podcast now and again. Check out her work around the internet where she goes by AnythingSews. Site design and graphics for DicePunks.com are by Robin, sadly not appearing in this episode. 10 Million Hit Point Planet is written by Liam Ginty, with layout by Dee Pennyway and artwork including the episode art from the front cover of the game by J.M. Butler. 10 Million Hit Point Planet can be found at sandypuggames.itch.io/10millionhpplanet, all hyphenated. Links to both systems and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard, that's reward enough on its own, but if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards. You and I, we're friends, right? Between the two of us, we can agree. Fashion, stagnant. Even bringing capes back. They're stuffy. They cover so much. But what if your shoulders are your best feature? You want to draw attention to your neck. You'd only like to cover one half of your chest, or only one of your shoulders gets really cold. Well, I think we have exactly the garment you need. Slut capes. They hang off one shoulder by a sexy, dazzling chain, and they come in only the slinkiest, silkiest, shiniest materials. Right now, Bastard Planet Limited is having a special on these up-and-coming fashion items. They'll be the hottest thing and the coldest shoulders come Christmas. Sequins? We'll add 'em. You want a provocative brooch to pin them in front of your collarbone so that all the thirstiest people you see pant when they see the brooch at the hollow of your throat? Slut capes. You should wear clothes underneath them, but you won't want to.